Yo, it's Bader. Hey, I just want to share a quick story of when I was a kid collecting, and it's a time I went into a card shop, and I'm really wanting to grab some Todd Walker cards, and I'm hoping that it would be in there. For those of you who don't know who Todd Walker is, and that's probably a lot of you, he was the hot prospect for the Minnesota Twins back in 1996, 97, 98. He was supposed to be like a Will Clark, type hitter, just a great all-around hitter. And our hopes of Twins fans is that he would be like the next player that we could root for after Kirby Puckett had retired. So I had gone in there, and at the time, if you want to get one of these Todd Walker cards, a lot of them would range between like $1 to $5 kind of thing. And I probably went in there with $5 to $10, hoping to grab one or two. So when I went in there, if I recall correctly, they didn't have any that was there. But of course, you got $5 in your pocket, and you want to burn it. And I am always like any Twins players and any Twins rookies. And so the gentleman goes, well, I don't have him, but I got a bunch of this guy. And so he shows me this other player. And at the time, I don't think I'd ever heard of him before. And so I'm looking at the cards and going like, well, those are kind of cool. How much? And I think he said they're like, $5 for $1 or quarter, something like that. And there wasn't much else at the shop. So I bought them all, and I had the tendency to do that. If I have if I saw 10 Todd Walker cards and they're all affordable and the same card, I probably would have bought them all. So I bought all these cards and went home. Now, 9 times out of 10, when you do that, you look down the road, those cards are worthless, especially if you're collecting cards from the 90s, right? So fast forward to today, I open up my binder here, which I haven't opened in like 15 years. And I'm looking through this, and I'm just thinking of all the excitement that I got each time I got one of these cards, but how it's no longer, not as relevant in today, because he didn't become a legend, he didn't pan out. But as I'm looking at these, it makes me think very much of the cards that I got and how grateful I am that he didn't have any Todd Walkers there and that he had this other player instead. So I'll point a couple out. Here's the 97 Fleer rookie of Todd Walker. Here's a Wave of the Future of Todd Walker. And then in another page here is the Ultra. Now, there's some of you who probably already know where I'm going. I pointed out those 3 cards specifically. He didn't have any of those. He had another player on the Twins. And so when I was there, I grabbed all those cards. I probably spent $3 or something on these 20 rookie cards of some guy named David Ortiz. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got another one. All the Wave of the Futures. I grabbed all those that he had. An Ultra and the Ultra Gold. So this is David Ortiz's rookie cards. Later he changed the name. He got switched over to David Ortiz. Became Big Poppy, the face of a franchise, the great one, all the charisma, the power. And he's a fan favorite. And who knew at that time? Who knew? So around that time, there's about another year before I graduated high school, and then I was off to college and and getting a career and getting married and making babies and all that stuff. And these cards went into a box and got filed away because I wasn't paying as much attention, and honestly kind of forgot that I had them. So fast forward, I started looking at a little bit of more modern-ish stuff and certain people going to the Hall of Fame, and I'm checking to see, how much one of their rookie cards would be if I wanted to get one. And I hadn't looked at David Ortiz's rookies, and then I did. I'm like, geez, those are expensive. And I go, wait a second, I had that card. I have a bunch of those. I have them somewhere. And so I started going through old boxes, and I'm like, I know they're there somewhere. And it took me forever, and finally I found them, and there was 20 of them. And so there was all of those, and I took the very best one of each one and sent it off to be graded, and pleasantly surprised. So the Wave of the Future came back a 9.5. The Fleer came back a 9, the best one. The Ultra came back a 9. And then I don't know what the odds are that guy would have 2 golds, but he did have 2 golds. And the other one also came back a 9. That's incredible. I mean, I can't think of anything in my childhood where I'm like, oh, I love this player, I'm going to buy. It doesn't really matter who. I mean, you could have bought 20 Griffey rookies back in 1997. They're worth more now than they are then than they are now. everybody I can think of. This is like one of the only players that I can think of where it actually panned out really, really well. That you got a prospect, had no expectations whatsoever, and then fast forward, it's like it was a phenomenal player, Hall of Famer. The other thing that's unique about the David Ortiz rookie cards is that only Fleer had his cards being made in '97. I think there's one exception with the Don Russ signature series, I believe. But that's it. So he doesn't have 100 different rookie cards like a lot of players did in the late '90s. You didn't have 5, 6 brands all making 2 or 3 variations of a rookie for him. So that makes them much more sought after. But that was it. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly do. But all right, you guys have a good one. Vader out.